Hi, I'm Dr. Leah Bauer, a research entomologist with the USDA Forest Service in East Lansing, Michigan. And over the last 10 years, I've been studying a small beetle called the emerald ash borer, which was introduced from China inadvertently, probably during the 1990s, due to international trade and movement of goods. In 2002, we learned that this beetle had been discovered in southeast Michigan, and that it had spread throughout much of the area around Detroit, as well as into the Windsor area of Ontario, and that tens of thousands of trees were dying and have since died, and now we have this beetle now in this part of Michigan, which is sort of south central. In Michigan, we have 5 species of ash tree, and these species are all highly susceptible to this beetle, which feeds under the bark of ash trees and kills them by destroying the fibers that allow transport of nutrients, and as well as some water in the outer sapwood of these trees. We've learned from actually destructive sampling of these trees, we actually have to take a knife and slice off thin layers of bark, and we can see the type of damage, and hopefully we'll see some life stages of emerald ash borer that's in the time that they're under the bark of a tree, which occurs through the winter. They don't begin to emerge, at least in this part of Michigan, until March. So let's cut. So we've moved over now to a little bit older tree, and I wanted to show you what we call an exit hole. They're a D-shaped hole, which is the hole that the beetle chews from which it emerges in the spring. And underneath that area of bark, we'll find the whole gallery where it fed. So I wanted to show you what was under an exit hole of emerald ash borer. This would be where the beetle actually emerged from, and the larva is the feeding stage that lives under the bark. And we can take a peek under here, and we can see the kind of damage it does and where it pupated. Okay, this beetle emerged out of this patch of wood and maybe had fed in some other areas around this patch. And we can see here that callus has formed and grown over that gallery. It didn't amount to much. I mean, usually there's a huge, you can see how big most of these galleries are. So here's an ash tree that has recently died from emerald ash borer attack. And we can tell it's recently died because the bark is still on it and it's still standing. But you can see that these epicormic sprouts are dry, which means they're not nourished anymore, so they just die. And the bark comes off the tree. This shows the feeding galleries on the wood of the tree, which is the area inside under the bark. And these are some exit holes from which they emerged a few years ago.